Welcome to Export Digest, your number one program that periscopes Nigeria's non-oil export sector. It is always a pleasure to have you join us. Export Digest brings you information that helps you see economic possibilities in non-oil export, a sector we strongly believe is Nigeria's alternative source of foreign exchange earnings. On Export Digest, we highlight several opportunities and explore strategies to exploit these opportunities as we seek to identify and provide solutions to challenges in the sector. Our goal is to enable practitioners and policymakers improve on their respective roles as it relates to export business. My name is Mayokun Akpoterabo.
My name is Ken Okaha, the president of the National Association of Nigerian Traders, NANS.
I am Obinaya C. Urwapa, personal development trainer, public affairs analyst, and an entrepreneur.
Keep watching
Export Digest.
Export Digest.
Don't change it out.
As is our custom, we shall be bringing you rich information on export prospects, activities and events around export trade and industry, presented in 3 segments, which are the focus of the day, spotlight and trade info segments. It is said that he who fails to plan actually plans to fail. In whatever venture one embarks on, there must be a conscious effort to plan ahead, to map out actions, appraise likely challenges, determine expectations, and basically count the cost. Planning entails setting out with an objective in mind, understanding what resources, activities, or input is required to ensure that the objective is actually attained. As it is in all aspects of life, prior preparation prevents poor performance. This principle also applies to services export. So today we treat planning in services export. Let us join Femi Boyede, a certified international trade professional, for an exposition. The program is Export Digest.
The truth is that when you watch, either religiously or by chance, a program like Export Digest, and you see a Femi Boyede explaining the huge opportunities in exports, you most likely want to rush into, just like the flurry of emails we get, people end up after just one single episode wanting to become an exporter overnight. It is the same with companies that have been set up. I'm not specific now whether they are one-man businesses or corporate entities. Once a company has decided that it wants to go the export route, or in the case of services exports, an individual most of the time has decided that he or she wants to export his or her services, then it becomes imperative to introduce an export plan. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what an export plan is expected to be, what it should look like, and what it's supposed to contain by the time that you begin to design it. Way back in 1989, if my memory serves me right, I did provide export advisory service to a middle-aged Nigerian from Niger State who came in contact with Tourmaline and was actually undertaking his first trip to Germany. And by the time he came, at that time, yours truly was a staff of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, and if I remember very well, the export registration certificate for that guy was the first or the second that I signed. as the alternate signatory at that time. He went to Germany and came back. He came back with loads of Dutch mark. He came back to explain how happy and excited he was that his exploration into the export market had been very fantastic and successful. 3 trips later, the young man came with photographs of the mansion that he had built in Mina and one in Kaduna. As far as he was concerned, there is no need for an export plan. Whether it is export strategy, export marketing plan, or market penetration, as far as that kind of person is concerned, there is no need for. The same happens to companies who actually enter into the export market by chance. In more cases than none, such companies are likely to assume that there is no need to draw up an export plan. Most especially if an export consultant now says it's going to cost you 100,000 or 200,000 naira to prepare an export plan. You think, oh, what's in it? Is it not just to go out there, get a freight forwarder and what have you? No. You want to be an exporter of service, or you are already exporting services but you never knew anyway, you are going to need to draw up an export plan. So let's go straight away into what questions you are supposed to answer or what the content of that export plan is. So first we need to understand that the purpose of an export plan is first and foremost to identify the export opportunity or potential, to also enumerate the resources available to the company, to identify and also enumerate the constraints and challenges that the company or the individual is likely to have, and to begin to seek for solutions for such constraints, challenges, or difficulties that the exporter is likely to face. The second reason why you are needing to have an export plan is actually to create an action statement. We want to be the leading exporter of coconut from Badagry by the year 2020 is an action statement. It is pregnant, it is packed with intention, it is packed with measurability. That statement alone is enough for you to go to the drawing board and then begin to piece together what are the things that are needed to get you to that destination that you have set for yourself by 2020. Back to services exports. I would like to be recognized as Nigeria's major exporter of legal services by the next 10 years. That's an actionable statement that forms the objective, the basic fundamental of an export plan.
If you're just joining us, the program is Export Digest, and our focus today is planning in export services. We have been able to lay the foundation and underscore the importance of planning in export service business. Next, let us seek to understand how to go about it.
The best thing is to start with a very short plan. Your first draft of the export plan should be very short. What is the product? What is the service? Translation, designing, sculpting, what is it? Or you just want to be the backbone, for example, for an online marketing platform, which is an easier possibility for most of our youth today who are in the field of IT. You just identify that, set that as this is what I have to offer. Who do I want to offer it to? Where are they? Countries, continent, community, state, or even cities? you need to already understand that in that your short export plan. You also need to understand that a plan has very serious components of timelines. An efficient export plan must be guided by timelines. It must have responsibilities. Who is who in the company that is going to be responsible for what and what component of the timeline? What is the implementation plan? What are the things that need to be modified if there needs to be? That means also therefore that there has to be a monitoring device, a monitoring strategy for the implementation of the plan. It will be a component of it when you are drawing it.
To guide in developing a plan for your service export business, we have drawn up some key questions you must answer. Let's now run it by you. Please do well to note them.
What product? Now we are talking about service, so assume that the service you are offering is a product. Or what service or services have you selected to develop for the export market? Does it require any modifications? How are you going to present it? If there needs to be modification to suit the market, what modifications are you going to make to adapt them to the particular market? What countries are you targeting for your service to enter into? Remember, the export plan is actually the basis of your export development. 3. In each country that you have listed as your target market, what is the basic customer profile? We can also talk about this as segmentation. Which part of the market are you going into? What marketing and distribution channels are you going to adapt in that particular market that you are going into? This must actually guide you to how to reach the customers that you have listed. 4. What special challenges pertain to each of these markets that you have already listed? Is there competition, cultural differences, language barriers, import restrictions, and what have you? What strategy are you going to apply in the case of each of these identified challenges? 5. How will the services export sales price be determined? If, for example, you are a translator, at what cost are you translating? Is it per page? Is it per hour? You must understand that there's a difference between the cost, the fees charged by a simultaneous interpreter at an international conference, for example, and somebody who helps a company to translate the basic literature of a product into 1 or 2 other languages. All these are prospects as a services exporter. You want to write a script, for example, for a drama school in Kenya. You are in Nigeria and you need to write a script for them to act. Of course, that is also a way of exporting service. How much are you going to charge? You have decided to design a house that can only fit into the landscape that you saw, the topography you saw online in a country like Cape Verde. And then you just get an inspiration, you want to design a house that fits there. How much are you going to charge? What operational steps are you going to take to actualize your export development plan? You must understand the specific operational steps. Operational steps, of course, will include identifying the resources that you need, the kind of staff and the staffing and recruitment method you are going to apply. Are they going to be 30 days make one pay, or are they going to be part owners of the business? Is it an ogata, where you have to go, and sometimes one-man businesses even sell their properties in order to pay their staff, who end up doing nothing? All this must be very clearly spread out in your mind. Now, what is the specific, I said that earlier, time frame for implementing each element? Remember that some of the action plans that you have put in your draft can actually be going on concurrently. For example, you are doing a recruitment process. You advertise. You usually give like 14 or 21 days for candidates or potential candidates to respond to the advert. What will you be doing during those 21 days? There are other aspects of the export plan that can run concurrently with the time that you have put. You need to specify this. So, what personnel? I just finished saying that. What personnel do you need? You want to start top heavy? You want to have a two-man, me and my wife and my child business? Hey, I know some people are laughing. Let me explain to you. There is a French company that exports Peugeot spare parts into Nigeria, and they were coming to Nigeria. They were very active in Nigeria. In fact, statistically, that company controlled 25% of the Peugeot spare parts market in Nigeria when Peugeot automobiles were the #1 on Nigerian roads. And the company actually had 3 staff: the man, the wife, and the son. The wife was the accountant. The son was the one in charge of production. The father was the marketer. He was the one going abroad, attending all Nigeria networking events and creating the market. So it's very possible that you have it all knit up, but then you also need to specify in your plan what are the qualities, what is the job description and the person specification of the plan that you have. So for each of these elements, what is the cost in time and in money? What is the cost? You must be able to put a cost to it, because maybe we'll have the opportunity of devoting one episode to how to cost for export. It's titled Costing and Pricing for Export. Each one has its own way of determining the export price. And like I said, evaluation, monitoring and evaluation. Every single aspect needs to be monitored to ensure that it is meeting the purpose that you put in the plan. So there must be a monitoring mechanism that allows you to keep getting better and better, improving on the plan.
There you have it all the questions you need to answer in your quest to develop a plan for your service export business. The program is Export Digest if you're just tuning in. We have been treating planning in services export, starting with the need for proper planning and of course going through the components of a good plan. Be sure to watch this episode on our YouTube channel to catch up with the pointers we have given so far.
My name is Ezenwa Numno. I'm the legal practitioner based in Abuja, and I'm also the chairman of Nigerian Bar Association Abuja branch. I'm very much aware that we're exporting services, and I believe that legal services is also in the mainstay of service exports in Nigeria or in any country. And I say this because if you do a comparison with other countries and the contribution of legal services, for instance, you might forgive me, I have to stick to legal services where is my domain. If you do the contribution of legal services, for instance, to the GDP of any country, say the UK, we have legal services contributing almost 4% of the GDP, employing almost 400,000 persons in the UK, and is the second highest employer of labor after the telecoms. So if you have a sector that contributes 4% to the GDP, I think that is huge. and I think they are major stakeholders in the economy if you're contributing up to 4% of the GDP. Well, in respect of the impact and the role that we are playing in the Nigerian economy, for me, on my own personal assessment, I think there's so much we can do. I think, I believe that the Bar Association is doing well to put the lawyers at the forefront of such developments, but there's so much room for improvement. Because if we understand the capacity and what the legal service sector or the service sector in all can bring to, say, the recovery of Nigerian economy, we will be keen to start paying more interest. And when I say there's so much role, when you look at the various interventions that are available now, like, say, the CBN intervention, the various interventions by the government, you see that they are looking more at the real sector. Nobody and much funding or much support is not going into service sector. Support in terms of building the capacity. If, for instance, you assess the role of lawyers in the privatization work that was done a few years ago, you see that that lawyers can do much more. You see that the industry can pitch higher, there will be higher contribution for lawyers than instead of having such services farmed out to organizations that are abroad. And this is what I tried to underscore in the discussion last week when we talked about backward linkages. I kept on insisting that the legal framework for such implementation of backward linkages are not there. And I made an example using the Nigerian content development sector, the local content. And I said, when you have the law guiding local content, like the one in the gas and oil and gas industry, insisting that making specific provision as to insurance, making specific provision as to legal practice, and making sure that those activities are domiciled within Nigeria, you see that you start having more contribution from those sectors. So, by and large, there's still work to be done. We must develop the framework that will make sure that these service sectors are encouraged and to participate within the economy, to be major players in the Nigerian economy. That is what the role of the Bar Association should do, and I think that is what the Bar is poised to do at this time.
That's our package of today's Export Digest. You can catch up with this series on our YouTube channel.
Is your business registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission?
No, but why do I need to register my business?
Oh, it means you are running an unregistered business, which is unacceptable and illegal. Moreover, you are losing a lot of benefits. Register your business now with the Corporate Affairs Commission to enjoy opportunity to own corporate accounts with banks, business patronage from both public and private organizations across the world, numerous government interventions and programs for small businesses like yours, and access to various grants and loans for small businesses like ours. CAC has simplified and made business registration easy. You can register it all by yourself by visiting our office at plot 565 Ndola Square off Michael Okpara Street, Zone 5, Wuse, Abuja. Or register online by visiting the CAC Company Registration Portal at services.cac.gov.ng or call 081 822 99016. Hurry now and register your business and watch your business flourish. The Corporate Affairs Commission, committed to prompt and efficient service delivery.
I'm Magdalene Palmer.
My name is Toyin Yunusiri. I'm based in the US.
I'm Ken from Ken Ife.
Keep watching Export Digest.
And I would recommend very strongly that you come along.
Keep watching Export Digest.
We thank you for joining us today on Export Digest. You can watch this particular episode and others before it on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ facebook.com/export digest. Do send in your comments, observations, and contributions to our different channels of communication now showing on your screen. Remember, you can advertise your products and services on Export Digest. All you need to do is contact us and see us grow your business with you. Join us next week for another episode of Export Digest. My name is Mayokun Akpotirabo. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.